What if the exhaustion you feel isn't from doing too much, but from carrying a version of yourself that was never real to begin with? Stay with us, because there's a guided meditation later that might be the first real rest you've had all week. Here's what we're going to look at together. There are two deceptively simple ideas worth our attention today. The first, that we can stop mentally white-knuckling our way through the day and actually rest. The second, that the self we've been so desperately trying to fix or prove was never broken in the first place. Most of us spend enormous energy managing an identity built from old wounds, comparisons, and other people's opinions. And these two ideas suggest there's a completely different starting point available to us. Right now, in the middle of whatever Tuesday this happens to be. Let me show you what I mean. You know that feeling when you finally sit down at the end of the day, and even though your body is still, your mind is still running laps. You're not working. You're not solving anything. But you're still working on something. You're working on you. Rehearsing the conversation. Auditing the day. Wondering if that one thing you said landed wrong. That's the work most of us don't realize we're doing. And it doesn't stop when we close the laptop. There's a trial running in your head. Most of the time, you can't even hear it because it's been going on so long it sounds like normal thinking. But listen for a second. Picture Sarah. She's a project manager in her mid-30s, hasn't taken a real lunch break in 6 months, eats at her desk while answering messages. One Tuesday afternoon, a senior colleague questions her judgment in front of the team. Not cruelly, just publicly. And Sarah does what most of us do. She nods. She handles it. She moves on. Outwardly. Inwardly, the trial begins. She replays it in the bathroom, on the commute, at dinner, while her partner is telling her about their day and she's nodding but not really there. At 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling. And here's the thing, she's not just remembering the meeting, she's prosecuting it. Building a case. Gathering evidence. Was that comment about her competence? Has her boss been distant lately? Did she handle the last project badly too? On and on. She's the prosecutor, laying out why she might be fundamentally not enough. She's the defendant, scrambling to mount a defense. And she's the exhausted jury, trying to deliver a verdict that never quite arrives. The trigger was one comment. The reaction was hours, maybe days, of mental labor. And this is what we mean by exhaustion that has nothing to do with how much you did. It's the cost of running a courtroom in your own head, every day, about whether you get to be okay. Here's a way to picture it. Imagine you've been walking for years carrying a backpack stuffed with rocks. Each rock is a label someone put on you, or that you put on yourself. Not good enough. Too much. A failure. Damaged. Difficult. Behind. You've carried this thing so long that the straining and the hunching has started to feel like what walking just is. You don't even notice the weight anymore. You only notice that you're tired all the time and you can't figure out why. The first of these two ideas, the invitation to actually rest, isn't about taking a nap. You can nap and still be carrying the backpack. Real rest is something different. Real rest is what happens when you set the backpack down. And here's what's strange. You don't have to earn that. There's no test you have to pass first. No final verdict from the jury in your head that finally says, Okay. You're allowed to put it down now. The invitation is just, you can put it down. Right now, not because you finally got everything right, but because someone is gently pointing out that you were never required to carry it in the first place. That's a hard thing to hear if you've built your whole life around carrying it. So let's get curious. If you weren't managing your identity all day, if you weren't running the trial, gathering the evidence, hunching under the weight, what would actually be there? Most of us assume the answer is nothing, a void. That if we stop trying so hard to be acceptable, we discover we actually aren't. That the effort is what's holding us together, and without it we just collapse into the not enough we secretly suspect we are. But what if that's exactly backwards? What if underneath all the effortful identity management, the performing, the proving, the comparing, the auditing, there's something that doesn't require any of that to exist? Something that was never actually at risk in the first place. Not a void. Not a verdict pending, something solid that was there before the first rock got put in the backpack. This is the second idea, and it's the one that quietly changes everything. The radical suggestion is this: your worth was not constructed. It wasn't built from your performance reviews. It wasn't earned by your achievements. It wasn't granted by the people who finally approved of you. And it wasn't revoked by the people who didn't. It wasn't damaged by your worst moment. And it isn't reinforced by your best one. It was already there. Before any of it. That doesn't mean your mistakes don't matter, or that growth isn't real, or that you don't keep learning how to be a person. It just means the thing underneath, the basic okayness of you, the fact of you, was settled before you ever made a single mistake or scored a single win. And if that's true, even a little, then the trial in your head is about a question that was already answered. The prosecutor is making a case about something that isn't actually on trial. The jury is exhausted because there was never a verdict to reach. This is the moment Sarah, lying awake at 2 a.m., finally notices something. She notices she's been the prosecutor, the defendant, and the jury all at once. And for the first time, she wonders, quietly, almost shyly, what if I just stop the trial? Not because she solved it. Not because she finally proved her competence, but because she remembered, somewhere underneath all of it, that she was never actually on trial. What does this actually look like on a Tuesday afternoon? It looks like Sarah getting that comment in the meeting, feeling the familiar lurch in her stomach, and then noticing it. Not fixing it. Not arguing with it, just seeing the moment the prosecutor stands up to start the case, and quietly deciding she doesn't have to attend the trial. It looks like the backpack getting just a little lighter, not because the rocks vanished, but because she's loosening her grip on a few of them. The one labeled not good enough. The one labeled have to prove it. She doesn't have to throw them away dramatically. She just stops gripping them so hard. Life on the outside doesn't change. The colleague is still the colleague. The project still has a deadline. The inbox is still the inbox. But the low hum of anxiety that runs under everything, that constant background frequency of am I okay? Am I okay? Am I okay? Gets quieter. Because the question it was asking is one you've already started to answer differently. So here's where we're going next. We're going to take a few minutes together to actually try this. Not as an idea, as an experience, a chance to set the backpack down, even just for a moment, and notice what's underneath. You don't have to believe any of this for it to work. You just have to be willing to stop carrying something for a few minutes and see what happens. If you'd like more teachings and guided practices like this, you can like the video and subscribe. And now, we'll move into a short guided meditation. Let's take a few minutes together. Find a way to sit that doesn't require effort. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw soften. Let your hands rest wherever they want to rest. You don't have to do anything here. You don't have to get this right. Notice your breath. Not changing it, just noticing it arriving and leaving on its own. In and out. Now, gently, bring your attention to the part of you that's been working all day. Not your body. The other part, the one that's been managing, assessing, checking, replaying. Just notice it's there. You don't have to argue with it. You don't have to make it stop. Just notice how much it's been carrying. And now, for just this moment, imagine setting it down. The backpack. The rocks. The case you've been building. The verdict you've been waiting for. Not forever. Just for now. Let your hands relax. Let your breath deepen, if it wants to, and notice what's still here. Underneath the working. Underneath the managing, something quiet. Something that didn't need to be earned. Something that was here before any of the labels, and is still here now. You don't have to name it. You don't have to understand it. Just let it be present. Rest here. There's nothing to figure out. No trial to attend. No verdict pending. Just this breath, and this one. And the simple, settled fact of you being here. If a thought arrives, let it pass through. You don't have to follow it. If a worry shows up, you don't have to pick it up. You can let it stand at the door and keep resting. Feel the support beneath you. The chair. The floor. The ground. You are held. Even when you're not holding yourself together. Stay here for another breath. And another. And when you're ready, let your attention drift gently back to the room. To the sounds around you. To the light. To the small, ordinary fact of being right here. You can carry this quiet with you. It doesn't have to stay on the cushion. It was already yours. Thank you for practicing with us today. If you'd like, there's a free digital copy of A Course in Miracles available through the link in the description. You're also welcome to leave a simple comment such as, "I am grateful. Thank you for being here, for giving yourself these few minutes when so much in your life is asking for them somewhere else." If something settled in you today, let it stay settled. You don't have to do anything with it. Be gentle with yourself as you step back into the rest of your day. The backpack can stay down. We'll see you soon.